So this is Diesel Food with People News. Once again, I'm just taking a break and studying, and come across this video. The reason why this one got my attention when I was kind of listening to it was because the gentleman with the ripped beard says he has a license without the picture under the religious rights of Great Image. Now, just so you guys know, that is actually in the Bible. So that is actually not false. So this may be highly possible. Of course, we'll proceed forward on this, but this actually got my attention. Once again, I'm not an attorney. Do this at your own risk, and I might probably go ahead and try to do that on my next little renewal myself and see how far I can go on it. I'm not an attorney, so don't think I am. Do what you wish with your own risk. Don't do what I say. This is just kind of a learning deal where we can just not look straight forward all the time, but always look around us all the time. For there's outside forces wanting to commit harm upon us, and we have every right to protect ourselves by every means necessary. Alrighty, let's proceed forward on this, because this is really awesome.
I did, but so I'm glad you brought that up. So originally, when they got me on disorderly, or the claim of disorderly, when they kidnapped my ass in court, as I got to jail, the second I got into jail, they tried to put a mask on me, and I'm like handcuffed, I'm like scooting away from him as good as I can. And you're like, no, dude. And then he's like, dude, what's up? And I'm like, dude, I'm here right now because you guys are telling me I had to put on a mask, and I'm not doing it. And the cop just looked at me and he goes, "You're serious?" I said, "Yeah." I was like, "Dude, I'm the first person who got arrested in Wisconsin for not wearing a mask. Like I take a little bit of pride in that,
Oh my God.
And so as I got in there, he just looked at me. I looked at him. I'm like, "Dude, it's gonna be a fight. I know it. Like he's not putting that on me. Like I'm a wiggle worm. Like I'm not gonna make it easy." He looked at me and said, "Oh, whatever." Threw it back down, chuckled, and then went inside. As I got inside, there was like two cops that were in there. There was I don't remember their names. But I was talking to them about it, and I was kind of cozying up to them. Just I wanted to get a feel for where they stood on all this, So I'm asking them like, "Hey, have you guys arrested anybody with a mask before?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I didn't think so because it's not a crime, And so then they started talking about how they wanted to get my picture taken, And I mean, I'll show you guys my driver's license to give you an extent of how much I'm done with these assholes. Like you can actually go in and get it. Oh wait, I'll cover up the number just in case. Fuck it, who cares? But you look at it, it's valid without photo.
How did you do that? How did you get that done?
So that's an interesting process. So I discovered, because when these cops pull me over for my expired tags, I don't want them to have a picture of me. I don't know. I'm not giving them nothing. So I walked into the DMV, again, Bible in hand, and this is an interesting story. And so I walk in there, and then they tell you, "Hey, you got to wear a mask." And I just held up the Bible. I didn't say a word. I just held up the Bible and stared at him. I said, "No." And he said, "All right, what do you want here?" I said, "I'm just trying to get my driver's license." And they're like, "Well, because of COVID, you got to do that online." I'm like, "Yeah, but I can't take a picture." It keeps asking me to put on a picture, and a picture is a graven image. It's a graven mark. I'm not doing that. I'm done completely with you guys. I'm not giving you guys any information that you don't need. And the guy just looked at me, and then he said, "All right, let me go talk to my manager." Like I said, I'm holding up the Bible. They made me skip all the lines. Like I skipped every line at the DMV. I went straight to the front, got to talk to the manager. I was in and out of there, and like they wanted me out of there,
They don't want the other monkeys to find out. They don't want the other monkeys.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm sitting there in no mask on, standing right in the middle of the lobby, and like I had my cowboy hat on, so I'm like, I'm not blending in. Like I stick out like a sore thumb. And I'm standing there next, I get like first class red carpet service, and I'm just like, well, this is crazy. I need to do this every time. And so after I do that, I talk with the manager, and they put me to the front of the line. I got the picture taken.
You got a case line. You got a case line.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, straight to the front. Straight, like people were staring at me. You know, there's like an hour line just to get in that line. Oh, I skipped that. I ain't doing that. You know, so I'm telling you got to bring a Bible to this type of stuff. You know,
I'm
like
gonna try this one.
but it's fun. Every cop who pulls me over, you know, because I do get pulled over. Because I mean, I ain't paying. Why do I got to pay the king's tax? Like I'm done with that. If they want me back in court, good. Let's go back. You know, I'll do this again. Now I got all the paperwork. I just got to switch a few lines, cross a few T's, dot a few I's, and it's back in action again.
Right.
You know. And so after that, the one thing to note though is you have to just sign your name, right? So I went on there and I tried to sign like, religious objection. Because I thought, well, if the whole driver's license is based on a contract, I'm like, well, let's see if I can go in there, not take a picture, and also not sign, you know, because clearly they're doing something with that signature. So then I put on there, I put religious objection, and the manager's like, nope, you're not allowed to do that. I'm like, I'm not allowed to do that? I'm like, all right, why not? You know, and she's just like, you have to sign your name. So I'm like, all right, cool. Sign my name, and then right at the end, I put all rights reserved. She deletes it again. She's like, you are not allowed to do that. Just sign your name.
I can't reserve my rights.
That's what I'm saying, you know? And I'm just like, what the hell? I looked up the statutes at the end of it, and it actually does say that in the statutes. You know, because if it didn't say that in the statutes, you best believe it. My ass was going back down there. They're bringing 2 Bibles, you know? And here's the statute. You know, like, you're wrong. But in the statute, I mean, they're going to follow statutes there, you know, so it's going to be pretty hard to get a manager not to follow the statute.
And I would still go with speaking of that, now are you acting as an attorney on my behalf? You know, because at that point in time when they said you had to do this because it's law, now they're acting as attorneys. So a cop ends up turning out to be an attorney. So you got to force their hands, right? So at that given time when they said they couldn't do that, my attorney says every document I sign, I must sign it this way. So are you acting as an attorney? You know, it probably won't always work, but it has worked a couple of times on me when my hands were forced. Now I have not done it with the driver's license, but they told me I can't do that, and I said, "Are you acting as my attorney?"
Statutes, but
So always put VC in front of your name and then just sign your name.
VC.
Yeah, it's like that you don't agree with this, basically. Okay, they won't know what it is. They might think they'll think that's your initial.
Okay, I forgot what the word's called because it's in Latin. Alright. But in essence, what it really actually means, all rights reserved. And but since they don't know what VC means, in general, you could get by with it, which I had a video a while back about this VC. But in essence, it's Latin and the same thing as all rights reserved.
Nothing here. This was
Yeah, that's a good one.
Something.
Yeah.
I went to change my signature on my driver's license, and now it says without prejudice. And then I went for my passport, and they said, oh, you can't change it unless you can prove your signature's changed. So I'm like, well, here's my driver's license. And they're like, okay, we'll send it right to you in a week.
But they let you do it without prejudice on your driver's license?
Yeah, driver's license.
Nobody called you and they said nothing about it? Or?
The passport office called me and said they couldn't do it and that they were going to pass it on to security. And it wasn't like the guy with the handcuffs or whatever security has. It was...
Now, on my next driver's license, that's actually what I was going to do, is without prejudice. Of course, I'm going to start doing the beginning, all rights reserved, without prejudice. And by the way, I have a CDL. If I did not have that CDL, I would absolutely not have a license.
The security as a department. So we are getting flagged here in Canada. There's enough people doing this, changing their signatures out, that certain people are saying like, no, absolutely not, we can't do it. But then they just go to the other one that will do it. And so we're getting around this stuff. The drivers does seem to be the first thing. I had the guy ask me, like, why is everybody doing this? I'm like, oh my God, that's great.
Who are they to tell you how to make your mark, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm going to divert you. You said that, so you wouldn't take the picture when they had you locked up for the
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, and so I told him, I said, dude, it's a graven image. Like, I'm hands down, I am not taking your video. Like, you're not
Did he
taking my
ask what
picture.
that was? Did he ask you what that was? An engraven image? Did they
Yeah.
inquire at all?
Oh yeah, no, they didn't. The one of the cops. I said, no, it's a graven image. I have a religious objection. That's not going to happen. And that one was really easy to fight. There was like, okay, but you know, we need to take your fingerprint. You know, and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, dude, like, you know, you guys keep acting like I'm going to help you. You know, like, dude, yeah, I know you guys don't realize it, but you know, you guys are my captors right now. Like, I don't have Stockholm syndrome. You know, like I'm not going to help my captors. I was like, dude, you guys just committed a crime by transporting me here. And the cop was just like, oh no, we didn't commit a crime. I just drove you. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that'd be like me driving my buddy to the bank, and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm saying, oh, he comes out with a boatload of cash, and he's hauling ass and hops in my car, and I'm like, shit, let's just go home casually, you know? Yeah, I was just driving. Like, will that fly? Yeah, I'm just driving. Is that gonna fly? You know? And so I told them that, and then they said, okay, well, you know, we got to get your fingerprint, you know? And I'm just like, okay, dude, no, you're not getting my fingerprint. I said, dude, this is mine. This came directly from my creator. I said, dude, what are you going to do with it? And I said, dude, I know, you know. And so he said, well, you know, we can force you. So we're going to force you. And then they had two cops approach me saying, they can force me. And I looked at him. I'm just like, man, I'm getting my ass beat again. I'm like, whatever, man. I'm not giving it to him. I'm not making it easy for him. And I said, all right. And I said, how about this? Instead of me just saying no, I'll give you an offer. I said, if you can show me, and I think I got this from, it was either Randy Kelton or Robert Fox. I said, if you can show, it's Robert Fox. I said, if you can show me where in your policy it says that you can force me to give me to take my fingerprint, you know, if I don't give you my consent. I said, because I'm telling you right now, I said, I've looked in your policy. I said, it ain't there. I said, so if you can show me in your policy where it says that your cause of action is to assault and you beat the shit out of me, because what, I'm not going to let you have my thumb? I said, you give me that and I'll do it. You know, not a problem. The cop looked at me and said, man, I'm not an attorney. Both cops walked into a back room.
He's an attorney enough to kidnap you.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
And attorney enough to say that, you know, you can't put all rights reserved. So, proceed forward.
Yeah. Forgot about that part.
Yeah. So both cops walked in this back room, and I didn't see them for like 20 minutes. I wasn't handcuffed. Like, I was just like, I'm just free in a room right now. You know, it's locked. You know. So after 20 minutes, they came out, and they just said, all right, man, you're free to go. I was shocked. I was shocked.
I called it the half arrest. The half arrest.
Yeah, you know, I really was. I was shocked. I thought for sure I was getting my ass beat. And I'm just like, dude, and I'm a stubborn guy, you know. Like, I'm telling you right now, I don't care how they could have been beating my ass bad. I'm not. No way. They might get me to do it if they ask nicely, but if they're being dicks, yeah, right. There's not a snowball's chance in hell. I'd rather march through hell with gasoline drawers than give them that fingerprint. Like, it's just not that. You know. Not at all.
So, Ryan, were you ever scared? Was there ever a moment where your nervous system went on fire and you
thought, dude, I was nervous.
What am I doing?
Every time I went into court, I was nervous, you know? But then, like, once you start getting in the zone, you know, I just kind of turned that nervousness into just being vocal about it, you know? So, like, even on a lot of the videos, when you're nervous like that, just, especially when you know it's being recorded, something like that, be vocal about what's happening to you, you know? Like, in my original video, you know, as they're smashing my head into the ground, like, you know, I know there's a bunch of cameras, but as they're smashing, and I know it's hard to remember this, say it out loud. Like, oh, now you're, like, you can hear me in the video. Now you're smashing my head into the ground.
Yeah.
Like, because they might not see it. Yeah. You know, and when you're there, it's just it's like all people are going to hear is 10 cops yelling, oh, stop resisting, or get a mask on, get a mask on. Mm-hmm. You got to, at least while you're getting your ass beat, say something, you know, defend yourself. It's a hard thing to do in the moment. You know,
this is brilliant. I feel like I need to make this point because it's very pivotal in my experience for my whole life. Is that the moment you give voice to something, you put your, you know, it's kind of your offering. Actually, it's what God is coming through you. As soon as you put it out, you begin to harmonize with the environment. You actually harmonize the environment instead of the environment being something that's just coming at you and you're the victim of it. As soon as you give voice, then it's your authority, right? Like that is your presence under God. And when your authority shows up, then the situation has to harmonize with you, right? It's just a dumb small example.
I agree with her at this point right here, right now. However, there's also a plus on this, y'all. Anytime you give a voice That is your property. Any word you say is your property. Anything that comes from you, of any sort of way, fashion, it is your property.
Asshole, but I sing with offensive noises, right? Or get me in an airport where they've trapped you in a place. I will sing to harmonize with that environment because otherwise I'm going to lose it. So I'm trying to keep control of myself. And the other night we're partying, celebrating in Acapulco, and I just started singing with my electric guitar because the acoustic's not working, and it's like comes the distortion, and it's like fuck you, right, like this, because singing at the top of my lungs, and I felt like $1 million after, even though there's nobody fighting me at that point. So I just think that's amazing, Ryan. You're doing incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. You can see how inspired people are by your story, and
Now, I didn't show the beginning of the video, but what he's doing is fighting the court system as a man, not as a person, not as a human, as a man, no more, no less. And my grandbaby woke up. Okay, baby. I'm going to cut this off. This is a good place to end. Diesel for We the People News. Remember, never look straight forward, always look around you.